So looking at NPXS ETH on Coinbene, since it's pretty much the only website I found where I can see the graph clearly. If you go to IDEX, there's always some problems with the graph loading and displaying. So I wish we could draw some trend lines here, but if we could, in any case, you would see likely that this trend line here, this diagonal trend line has just broken, which is not a great sign. That being said, the horizontal trend lines tend to be more relevant. And this is the daily chart, by the way. So the previous, so we had a high, a low, and then we had this tightening pattern, this equilibrium from which we broke into a high, but then we came back and now we've actually broken to not only this previous low, but we even, the candle actually broke through the previous low over here. So if this candle, if this daily candle finishes below where it is now, or even if it finishes right here at the 1,300 level, this is not going to be a great sign, because it means that not only is this candle, not only has the close of this candle dropped below the close of this previous swing low, but also the wick has dropped below it, which would be, a sign that this support line has not held, and that we would see further action, further price action to the downside. That being said, and of course the other problem here is that the volume has decreased significantly, which makes it harder to analyze, whether or not this is sort of a good, whether the market likes the coin at this price, and also makes technical analysis less effective, because without proper volume, we can't really see, our conclusions are less important and less relevant. So the daily RSI is down at 40, which is the lowest it's been since here. And there's of course some argument that this is a support line, this horizontal support line here could hold. And then of course, if you do look at the volume, although it's generally decreasing recently, we've seen an uptick in volume, and it's just possible that this will be the spike in volume, which you often see at the end of an uptrend or a downtrend. So of course here we have bam, bam, bam getting higher. The spike in volume, the biggest spike over here, led to the following downtrend, and then the biggest spike over here. Well, this didn't lead to much of a downtrend, but then we had another 1, 2, 3 with this spike, which again led to a red candle. So there is some small argument that, okay, if this red candle sort of reaches a peak over here, maybe that's the volume spike. But that being said, it's not a very convincing argument right now. A, because there's not that much volume, and B, because it's not that much of a spike. If we do break this level, if this candle sort of closes at or below this sort of level, actually between 1,250 and 1,300, as I said, that would not be the greatest sign, and we would probably expect to see it come down to test at least the 1,000 level here, which is the previous high, as you can see with these two candles here, as well as psychological resistance of 1,000. So I'd probably be placing, if we don't close this candle successfully in a sort of higher level like 1,350, then I will be looking to place orders around here, this level. That being said, if we do close this candle at about 1,350, 1,400, this will be the doji candle, which is of course representative of price being rejected at a certain level. In other words, the price will have come down, but then it will come right back up. And if it does that with volume, then that's a great sign of at least a temporary reversal, which would then require further confirmation with future candles to see how much higher it would go up. But certainly if this finishes green with a lot of volume, if this candle finishes green with a lot of volume, or if it finishes very close to being green with a lot of volume, so around the 1,350 level, that would be a good sign. So this is kind of a critical candle we're looking at right here, and a critical time for NPXS. It would be great to do a Fibonacci retracement over here to see what the fib levels are, but unfortunately I can't. What I did notice looking at the NPXS on IDEX is that we do have a bit of a volume climax here, and actually looking at this 4-hour chart does look more positive. So you see we have no candle which sort of exceeded this 30 million in volume, and then bam, we had this one which was 36. It's not a huge volume climax, but that combined with the fact that we have double tweezer bottom here, which is two candles which have wicks coming down to a certain level but then resisting from that level. That's a good sign. So we have, and this, especially this one is a green candle, and this one, if this one can continue with enough volume, that would be a good sign that at least we would, correct from here up to the sort of 1,400 level or so. But that remains to be seen. The daily is still looking a bit concerning, and it's hard to determine exactly whether or not we're at the bottom. I would say it's kind of 50-50. I would say maybe it's like 60% chance that we actually do correct, that we bounce back from here going up to at least the 1,400 level, and that, of course, if that happens, that would be great for the daily candle close, but that really remains to be seen, and I wouldn't make any big bets on whether or not this is the trend reversal. That being said, you can look at the RSI on the 4-hour, which is the lowest it has ever been, which is always a good sign, because it means that the market is acting irrationally and they're really selling off much more than they should. So yeah, that's why I'm guessing it's like 55-60% chance that really this is a reversal on the 4-hour time frame. But for it to be a reversal on the our daily time frame, we really need volume and continuation from this from here on.